Yo, 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 this is DJ Cool Thing coming live in another video. And today we're going to talk about this. CDs and CD players. And how they have helped me as a DJ in the very beginning of my DJing career. Well, as you know, when I was a kid, the CD was the main way of me getting my music. Yep, the CD was the main way of getting music back in the early 2000s and mid 2000s up until the mid to late 2000s, like 2006, 2007, I switched to the MP3. Even though MP3s have been around since the mid to late 90s, like 1997 with the MP Man, but it didn't catch on until 2001 with the release of iTunes. See, iTunes helped make the MP3 a standard, and that is where mix CDs come in. So back in 2001, CD burning was becoming the standard, and that is how DJs back in the day would make their mixes. They would rip, store-bought CDs like this, and they would put it into their iTunes collection, and then they would, build a playlist of some of their favorite songs from their favorite CDs, and they would build a mix CD, and they would use one of these as a main way of listening to their CDs. Yep, CD-R/RW playback, that is for mix CDs that DJs made back in the day to help them listen to their mixes and see how they sound before they take it to their gigs. And back then it was CDJs that were mostly popular because, CDs were the main way of listening to music way back in the day. And when I became a middle schooler, like 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, the MP3 was the main standard. For my 15th birthday in 2009, I got my first iPod, which that's another story for another day, talking about the different formats that I've used as a DJ. And it was because of this format right here, the CD, that I started to really become a DJ. And I had a whole bunch of CDs in my collection that I just became a DJ, and I had a lot of really great music to play, which I think is really amazing. So, I've come a long way since using the CD. And it was because of the CD that I became a professional DJ with a computer and software and a whole bunch of streaming music. And I started out in 2002. It was April 2002, and this right here, the CD, was the main way of listening to music. Yeah, this was the main way of listening to music in the early 2000s, was the CD. Is that, MP3 players weren't becoming as popular. It was becoming a brand new standard of listening to music using MP3s, but people were still buying CDs to put on their computer because there was no such thing as the iTunes Store. That didn't come until 2003. And even back then, people still made CDs. They would purchase music from the iTunes Store. They would take a blank CD, CD-R, which was one of these, but with a green coating on the back, which is what you're seeing right here. So instead of a silver coloring, it was a green coating to kind of see which ones were the CDRs and which one were the pre-recorded CDs. And you can even get like cases like this to put your CDRs in. and you would take them with you wherever you go using this, a portable CD player. And this is how you listen to your mixes while on the go, is using one of these devices, a portable CD player. And you can even listen to pre-recorded albums, you can listen to your mixes, but with me, I basically didn't have mix CDs until like 2005, 2006. When we got our first computer with a disc, a CD burner, DVD burner. I was mostly using one of these CDs right here, a pre-recorded CD. And this is where all my music came from, pre-recorded music. I mean, the music was already backed up on the CD once you bought the album. And it really helped me out as a DJ in the beginning, is putting the CD into the CD player of my CD Cruiser, pressing play, and let the music play. And I let the CD play until that was done, took it out, put in another one, and I was good to go for at least an hour or two. Especially for birthday parties that I was doing. I started out doing birthday parties, and then we did, holiday parties like Halloween, 4th of July, Christmas, and so much more. So it wasn't until 2008, 2009 we had our very own parties. Because I don't remember any parties between the years of 2003 to 2008, 2009. Because we mostly had other people play music. When I was in middle school, I hung out with my friends a lot. Like when one of my friends would have a party, like 4th of July, we would play music through their Sony Explode series, and I would bring CDs for them to play. And I mean, they had their own music to play, which is awesome. And his name was Matthew Hill, and he had a really huge pool deck that we had parties on, especially for 4th of July. And they had a Sony Explode series with a tape player, CD player, AM/FM radio, all of the stuff you would need for a boombox. And these right here were like personal stereos you would take with you wherever you go, especially playing your mixed CDs. And basically, my friend Matthew, he made me a mixed CD for my 13th birthday. And it has some of my favorite songs on there, which is nice. I mean, it was nice of him, because making mixed CDs back in my day, which was the mid-2000s, it was the simplest way to share music is through a CDR. I mean, with DJs, the CDR was the main way of getting your own personalized playlist on a CD. Is you'd use your computer, you'd use your computer to build the playlist, and you would use this to listen to the mix to make sure it sounds like 100%. And a CD like this, you would open it up, take the CD out, put it into a Walkman, like a CD Walkman or a boombox or a stereo or anything like that that played CDRs or recordable CDs. So any CD player would do. Yeah, any CD player would do just fine. And you would listen to that CD or that mix CD. And that's what I did back in the early 2000s, and how I got started as a DJ is I used pre-recorded CDs in the beginning, but as I gradually got better as a DJ, I used CDRs, and then I moved up to MP3s, by ripping these CDs into the computer and syncing them to the iPod or an iPod Touch and other iPods and MP3 players that I've owned throughout the years. I would rip my CDs to the computer. As you know, ripping is another word for converting songs from CDs to my computer, and I would sync them to the iPod and any other MP3 player that I had. In 2008, I had a MP3 player called the Creative Zenby Plus, and that's where most of my CDs were back in the day, using Windows Media, and these were transferred to Windows Media Player back in the day, and that's how I would get my music digitally onto the computers using the CD. And in 2009, I got my first Apple iPod, and I guess because the Creative Zenby Plus kind of froze on me, and and of course I used the Sirius Soleto 100 from SiriusXM, also as an MP3 player, but most of those songs were recorded directly from the satellite radio. It was recorded directly from the Sirius satellite radio and into the device itself, and they were playbacks of the songs that were being recorded. And that's how you would get music directly onto the device. And there was no way of actually saving those recordings into the computer. That would have been cool, making mix CDs of some recordings that I made. Yeah, I should have just made a mix CD of all the Sirius recordings and have them as a CD and listen to them years from now and just think about all the songs I used to love when I was in middle school, mostly from 80s on 8, because that was my most favorite station when I was a kid, 80s on 8, because of how much I love 80s music. And of course, we have my 13th birthday party mix CD, which is actually in my house. Yeah, all of my mix CDs are in my bedroom at my other house in Conway. And, all those mix CDs can be played. So I will bring some CDs next time so I can use this thing. And that is a really cool device. It really helped me out a lot when I first became a DJ by listening to the CDs to make sure they were ready to go and make sure they had songs that I wanted to play. Well, I didn't really use this particular CD player because I bought the CD player yesterday at the thrift store. And I bought this CD at the thrift store. It's called Sixpence None the Richer. And it was the album with my favorite song, Kiss Me. And I first heard that song when I was about 11, 12 years old on Wow Number Ones. I've been looking for this CD for a very long time. So, CDs really helped me out a lot as a DJ back in the early to mid 2000s. And then again in the late 2000s when we moved to a new house and we started having parties and I became a DJ. It was just amazing. And it was mostly family parties in the beginning. And in 2007, I became a church DJ for Swell 78, which was the middle school ministry before it became Merge. Because we were merging the 6th graders, the 7th graders, and the 8th graders. The 7th and 8th graders had their own ministry called Swell 78, and that's where I became a church DJ for the very first time. And now I'm a church DJ at the high school ministry called High School, and I've been a DJ there for 6 years now. but I've been a church DJ for at least 11 to 12 years now, and I was in charge of playing music and doing all the sound related stuff, and it was pretty cool. And this is what I mostly carry around with me when I was in middle school: CDs. And, you know, this CD could have been okay to play at, yeah, this CD could have been great to play at my church, but it wasn't really the top CD back in the day. That was back in the late 90s that this album came popular in the top 40. If I played this CD, you're like, are you out of your mind? You're playing this? So I played whatever was popular through compilation albums like Wow Hits 2007, Wow Hits 2008, Wow Hits 2009, and then I stopped at 2009 when it came to being a church DJ. I've always enjoyed being a DJ, playing my own music at my parties and, events and stuff like that. I don't remember any other, parties that I DJ'd at. So CDs really helped me out while I was a DJ when I got started being a DJ, because this was the only format of music I had access to. And this was the only portable device I had access to, a portable CD player. And it wasn't until the late 2000s I got into MP3s and digitized music, and I knew something wasn't right because I wasn't physically owning the music. It was more digitally than when it was physically. Physical music will always be the best way to play music, because as you know, MP3s have gone the way, and MP3s have gone away, and they're being replaced by the streaming version on streaming services such as Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, Napster, iHeartMusic, Pandora Music, and other on-demand music streaming services. They're being replaced by the MP3s are being replaced by those formats in those streaming services. And now that we have all types of streaming music services, these are becoming kind of obsolete. And it's going to take a long time for them to become totally obsolete. They're only obsolete at Best Buy and Target, the big chain stores that are selling CDs, but the independent record stores are still selling CDs as of today. And I should buy more CDs at Kilgore Trout's Music and More and see what kind of other CDs I can purchase to play in my portable CD player. And after a year, my 90s music is starting to sound awful, especially on the cassette. I made the cassette almost a year ago come April of the 25th, and the tape it's just wearing out, which is why I've always liked the compact disc when it comes to portability, and still having a physical copy. Tapes are just magnetic tape, and then CDs you can play numerous times, and it still sounds the same. I have CDs that are like 10 plus years old. Mix CDs are 10 plus years old. My oldest CD is like 12 years old, 13 years old, and they still sound just like the day I made them back in 2006, 2007. So 13 years. I made my first real mix CD, and I just burnt them onto a CD, and I still have them today, which is awesome. And I can still play them in a device like this, getting a used CD player and to play them back in. just in case I want to move away from streaming services when I'm on road trips. I can bring my mix CDs along with me, which I think is amazing. So that's basically what I'll do is I'll like whenever I go on a road trip, I'll just bring the CD player. It's easy that way. With tape, I mean my tape player is a Sony Walkman as well, so I have two Sony Walkmans, one for CDs and one for cassette tapes, which cassettes aren't really that great for DJing. But when cassettes were popular, DJs were still using vinyl because it was easier to get, or it was easy to get access to. And when the CD came out, they moved away from vinyl to CD. So tapes weren't really that great at being a format that everybody DJs with. So yeah, cassettes weren't really that great for DJing. But CDs and vinyl were because you can choose the songs that you want off that album or a mix CD or whatever, and it's just amazing to have something like that. And back in the MP3 age, the CDR was the main way of getting digital music onto a physical format, is to burn all the tracks you just purchased onto a CD and you can keep those forever. And they build over time, which I think is awesome. And there's nothing like having a physical copy in your hand and just opening it up, taking out the CD, and listening to it. So CDs are just amazing, especially for DJs. And actually, CDs are still being used today by DJs who have, who are subscribed to CD pools or have CDJs, and CDs are still being used today, which I think is amazing. So back in the 2000s, DJs would also use like separate CD players to play their music on, and that is what professional DJs did. And for me, I mostly had a boombox with a cassette player, CD player, AM/FM radio. It was like a 3-in-1 stereo system that I can carry around with me wherever I go. Even today with my Sony CFD S70 that is almost a year old. And it's still working just like the day I got it in February of 2018. And this one is actually still working, even though it's from like the 2000s or something. I mean, it's still working today, which I think is amazing. I mean, the CDs were part of my childhood. And it's how I got started as a DJ, is using compact discs and using a boombox to play them on at my parties back in like 2002, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08. And then in 2009, I switched to the MP3, and I still use my CD collection, but I transferred them to the computer, so I was still using CDs up till 2015, when it came to my main music listening format. And basically what I would do is I would buy the CD, put it into my computer, and rip it to the computer up until June of 2015 when Apple Music came out. And it kind of disabled CD ripping forever. And I mean, we're actually heading into a more advanced world. CDs are still being still being used with CDJs and CD players that you still have as a, like DJ CD players and stuff like that. I mean, CDs were the main way of getting music amongst DJs, even beginner DJs who had just a boombox, someone like me. As long as you had a huge CD collection and a CD player, you were considered a DJ. Because back then, being a DJ meant you had a large sums of CDs and a boombox to play them on, and not just that, but CDJs and other stuff like that. But in the early 2000s, like 2001, they started transferring their CD collection to the computer, and then you would take their laptop with them on to DJ gigs. And then that's when iTunes became the standard amongst DJs. Was using their CD collection, transfer them to the computer, and voila. So it was just amazing. So I mostly used this for the beginning of my DJing career. So I just want to let you guys know that of how I got started as a DJ, and that was with CDs, a portable CD player to play them on while I was on the go, because I was always traveling, and this is always good for a traveling DJ. Just put your mix CD into the CD player, put your headphones on, and engage in your mixes that you made. And when you were ready to play them at your gigs, you take the CD out of the portable CD player or boombox, wherever you had it last, and put it into a CDJ, and you start DJing, mixing, and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with a CD. So CDs were the main way of getting music from the early 80s to today. I mean, we're not seeing as many CDs anymore. Only used CDs are being sold at like record stores and thrift stores and other places like that sell used CDs. That's the main way of getting CDs as of today, is getting them used. So, and you can also get them at Cracker Barrel and other places like that sell CDs. But until then, and as of now, digital music has taken over, and streaming has taken over, because DJ software like Serato and Virtual DJ have streaming music services built in. Virtual DJ has Deezer, whereas Serato has Tidal. And, I mean, those two may not be the most popular streaming services, but they get the job done. And they may not have the biggest library, but it gets the job done for a DJ gig. I mean, I have playlists that last me a whole entire set and a whole entire night, which I think is amazing. With CDs, I still have music to last me an entire gig, because I had like a whole ton of CDs, and if I didn't, it would even last me for like at least an hour or two. So, or maybe even at least an hour or so. CDs were very time consuming, because a lot of new music was being released, and DJs had to get their hands on CDs. So that's how I got started as a DJ. And here I am with my own YouTube channel for DJ gigs and DJ tips, and a guide to help you out as a DJ if you want to become a DJ. And basically like sharing my own personal experience of being a DJ and what life was like when I was a beginner DJ, and I was using these to listen to to mixes on the go, and using these to DJ with CDs. And if you had CDs like this that were in its own case, I guess you would stick them in a CD case or a CD carrying case, and it would just be amazing. CD carrying cases and CD wallets were the main way of actually easily transporting a whole bunch of CDs to your gigs without having to worry about space. Because as you know, CDs took up a whole lot of space, and when you were getting ready for your DJ gig, slide into your CD wallet or CD case, and you were good to go for the entire gig. So smaller cases were easy for DJs to grab and play CDs at a gig, which I think is amazing. can't remember having a smaller case for my DJ gigs. I probably didn't. Or I probably did, because I don't remember a whole bunch of CDs being brought up, up to the building where I had my first DJ gig and my second DJ gig. I mean, a smaller case would have been easy to carry around, especially hand-picking albums that kind of fit within a party environment. But I mostly brought all of my music. And it made it, less stressful on me, so I just brought my entire collection, and that's how I DJ'd, was using CDs in a boombox. And for on-the-go use, I would use a portable CD player, because that was the only device that we had to take with me while on the go. I mean, I wasn't the only one who had CDs back in the day. So did, other of my, my friends who I went to school with actually had CDs and CD players back in the day. But, that's beside the point. And now I've moved to different laptops, like the Asus EPC from 2009. This was the model 1005 HAB. I used that from late 2009 to 2013. And then from 2013 to 2019, I used the 13.3 inch MacBook Pro mid-2012. And I could have used it for another year, but it was starting to get slow and, it was becoming out of date. So I just switched to the MacBook Air 13.3 inch display, Retina display. This is my first Retina MacBook Pro, and comparing it to when I first started as a DJ using CDs, yeah, it has come a long way over the years. So, yeah, I just want to get this quick video out to you guys of how I got started as a DJ. And I guess with that said, I'm going to be listening to some music, and I will catch you guys in the next video. This is DJ Cool Thing out. And make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You don't want to miss all the new DJ gigs that are coming out in 2019. And all the DJ videos that are coming out in 2019. So make sure you hit the subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys very, very soon.